to Bad Larry.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Bad Larry Kingdom. I'm your host, Bad Larry, and today we're inching ever so close to the epic finale and wrap up of the Inferno series with part 37 coming to you in the Spectacular Spider-Man number 148. But before we continue, gotta rate that cover. Alright, I thought this cover was pretty cool. You got Spider-Man and Gwen Stacy and Ned Leeds all coming out of the ground like zombies. It's very cool. I like the detail, especially right now in spooky season. So I give this a 92%, but let me know what you think of this cover down in the comments below. Alright, now boom! This issue is titled Night of the Living Ned, obviously on the play of Night of the Living Dead. Betty Brant here is screaming. She's having some sort of daytime hallucination nightmare of her dead husband Ned Leeds coming from the ground like a zombie, as well as Gwen Stacy and Spider-Man. She's freaked out. Obviously, this is all the influence of the Inferno demonic phenomenon. Flash Thompson, the blonde fellow walking in, he's the other main protagonist of this story. He's allowed Betty Brant to come and stay with him at his apartment because her husband Ned Leeds had died. She got caught up in Scientology. I mean, some sort of religious cult you see being led by some guy down on the left. She's gone through it. And now with the Inferno crisis going on, everybody's left the city. She's all alone. So Flash says, come on over and hang out with me. And outside it's blazing hot. But inside the buildings, it's freezing. So Betty Brant decides that she's going to turn on this gas-powered camp heater. And Flash is like, "Are you crazy? This thing's gonna kill us. It's super dangerous. You don't turn this on inside." But you know, she's losing it, which is understandable given the situation. The city is going crazy. They look outside and they just wish Spider-Man could do something about it, but the best they can do is board up the apartment that they're in, and unbeknownst to them, they got two goblin demons spying on them, and these two goblin demons decide they're going to eat Ned. They're going to eat Flash Thompson, they're going to eat Betty Brant, but before they do, they're going to play some tricks on them because that's what they like to do. They like to play with their food before they eat them. Flash Thompson, now a man, well out of high school, is reminiscing about the good old glory days if he had just gone to college.
Yeah, if Coach would have put me in fourth quarter, we'd have been state champions, no doubt. No doubt in my mind. You better believe things would have been different. I'd have gone pro. In a heartbeat. I'd be making millions of dollars and living in a big old mansion somewhere. You know, soaking it up in a hot tub with my soulmate.
But Flash Thompson turned out to be a massive loser when all of a sudden his high school idol Spider-Man shows up out of nowhere. It's not Spider-Man, it's a demon goblin in disguise, FYI. So the two goblins before, earlier in this issue, we're seeing now. One of them is disguised himself as Spider-Man and is talking trash, calling Flash Thompson an absolute loser and starts to beat the crap out of him, while the other one takes a more zombie approach and pretends to be Betty Brant's dead husband, Ned Leeds, and is tormenting her. I'm gonna get you, Betty. She's thinking she's going crazy. In typical horror flick style, the helpless female is running, whimpering, "Oh, don't kill me, oh." She's so scared. She's locked herself into a room, covered her face. She is absolutely terrified. While on the other end, Flash Thompson is getting absolutely destroyed by being called a loser and a no good. And this is his idol, Spider-Man, talking to him like this. He thought they were best buds, and this demon is hooked him up to this antenna, and he's just waiting for the electricity to come and fry Flash Thompson so he can get his food fried up, cooked to order. So even though this is technically a superhero book, The message that Jerry Conway is trying to deliver in this issue is you better help yourself. The heroes aren't always going to come. And this is what we're seeing here in these 2 pages. As Flash Thompson is tied up upside down, he's starting to feel there's something fishy. This guy, this thing pretending to be Spider-Man, it doesn't feel like his good buddy Spider-Man for real. He's got a screwdriver in his pocket. He's going to have to get himself free, or else he's going to be fried tunas here in a second. The lightning's starting to strike, and then over on the right hand side, if you look at the top image, you're going to see Betty Brant all curled up, and she's so scared. Oh my gosh, she's so scared. And then the ghost of her dead husband comes to her and tells her, hey, you better suck it up. You better get your act together and save yourself. And then at the end, at the bottom right, her eyebrows change and she's going to get her serious face on. Time to fight for herself. Flash Thompson is not too bright, but he's pretty perceptive. He knows the strength of Spider-Man's webs. He's dealt with that a lot before, and he knows that an old screwdriver wouldn't be able to cut through Spider-Man's webs, so he knows there's something fishy, and he's still athletic, so he form tackles this simulacrum of Spider-Man, rips his mask off to find demon face Spider-Man underneath, and they start fighting. They're rolling around. The demon's about to choke him out, and the lightning's starting to strike. Uh-oh, what's going to happen? Well, Betty Brant makes a horrible decision. She was kind of safe in that room, but she decides she's going to come out and face her fears. There's candles absolutely everywhere, which is obviously a fire hazard. And she has the bright idea from earlier in the episode, like the Seinfeld episode, everything in the beginning comes around to wrap itself up. She goes to the little gas heater, campfire heater, and she's starting to turn it on when the zombie Ned Leeds is coming after her and transforms into a real demon. And she's like, oh yeah? How about I crank this bad boy up to 11? Flash Thompson must have a real guardian angel over here. He's getting attacked by a demon. He misses getting struck by lightning. He's fallen off a building. He's able to grab a wire just in the nick of time and fall into the apartment just as Betty Brant is about to attack her demon with her little MacGyver campfire gas bomb. That demon really did himself in, and his buddy setting all them candles, thinking he was so smart. Well, kablooey! Flash Thompson and Betty Brant laugh it off. Ah, well, it was time to move anyway. Hope the landlord had himself some insurance. And we see that this is the end of Inferno. Pretty much everything is starting to go back to normal. And the only thing that we accomplished was Flash Thompson and Betty Brant got a little confidence back. And then just at the page on the right at the bottom left, little tiny speck, they get to see the real actual Spider-Man swinging. This is the only time we see like little tiny little Spider-Man in his own comic. The end. And now for my issue rating. As you can see, I put it up there, 67%. Here's the thing. During this time period, the late 80s, we had The Amazing Spider-Man, The Spectacular Spider-Man, and The Web of Spider-Man, with obviously the flagship title being The Amazing Spider-Man. So the two other issues, I don't know why they wouldn't still be Spider-Man driven. That's the whole point. They're trying to capitalize on the name Spider-Man, and they're wasting a whole entire issue off on a tangent, seeing what's going on between Flash Thompson and Betty Brant during the Inferno phenomenon, which to me it's a bit of a fail. You know, I think that the idea, if he wanted it to make a longer comic and include some of these side characters, accessory characters, but have them being the protagonist and then almost like a middle finger just given the tiniest image of the actual Spider-Man swinging at the end, when the basic message is that you don't need superheroes, you just need to help yourself. Well, why am I buying a comic book? I want to see uh, I want to see action that I can't do myself. I want to see people getting saved by superheroes, people that the things they could do that I can't do. That's the whole purpose of why I'm spending $1 back then. It would be $5 now. I don't need to spend $5 now or $1 back in the late '80s on a Spider-Man comic and have no Spider-Man in it. Anyway, that's the reason I gave this issue such a low grade. The art, it's not great. It's not Sal Buscema's best, but it wasn't horrible. The problem with Sal's style is that it's the old style from the '60s where everything is just your primary focus. The background is just going to be filled in with a color. There isn't really much background detail. It's kind of the classic late '60s style, and it's not my favorite, but it's not bad. That's not what's dragging this rating down. It's absolutely the focal point of a spectacular Spider-Man issue being revolving around ancillary accessory characters the entire time. So, but let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments below. Can you believe it? We only have 2 episodes left of the Inferno series, with the next one coming in Power Pack. And then one last issue, Damage Control. That'll wrap up the Inferno series. So stay tuned for the next issue, or for the next episode, which is going to be in Power Pack. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe so you never miss an episode. Be good to one another. Peace.